We are talking about lore, not as in like story lore or whatever else lore can mean, but no, the lore of the character slash before slash data, Brent Spiner, Adam Soon, etc., 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 etc. His face popped up in the Picard season 3 trailer at the very end, and we heard Geordi say, lore. Just like that, really ominously. And Lore was behind some kind of, it could be a brig or a security door or something along those lines.
Maybe he was having lunch.
Or maybe he was having lunch and he heard him coming in and he has this like permanent scout. Yeah, it could be 10 forward. He was in some room that was separated away from Geordi, and Geordi says, Lore, like that. Lore. Lore. And it was fantastic. It came after the Moriarty reveal, and it just like added to my elation. And we're going to talk about how in the world can this man slash robot slash android, villain and hero, how can he even be back in the first place? How does that work? Shane, how does it work? Talk to me.
Well, first off, it's not our fault that Lore isn't back like we think Lore is supposed to be back, like the trailer. So when Geordi says Lore, we all immediately go, Lore's back. Yeah. Okay, what's he going to do? Is he gonna be like the villain? Like, is he gonna help this Vatic character? Like, is he gonna bring down the Enterprise? Or will he get a redemption arc? What's gonna happen with Lore? But then on the panel, people start joking around. And so all of a sudden, Brent Spiner's like, here's what happened. Terry Metalis is like, you're back as Lore. And Brent Spiner's like, am I? Am I back as Lore?
Come on, Brent.
Right? And then Frakes jumps in thinking he's helping, I think.
Made it worse.
And says, well, here, why don't you play it so we can get it?
Oh yeah, okay. I guess I could play that. You're right.
This is the spot, yeah.
Before Lore?
All of a sudden, Frakes is like, I'm going to help him out. I'm going to help him. B4 is not a cute way. And Terry's over there going, Lore. I just want to kill myself right now because I can't say anything on stage.
Right. Terry's like, guys, shut up. Shut up, guys. All right, here we go.
So you're Lore, and you're back as Lore, just to catch you up.
Am I?
Yeah.
Are you?
Before Lore.
Yeah. Before Lore.
Before Lore.
There was before.
Before is not in it. Lore is in it.
Lore is in it in a very complicated way.
Yes, so B4 is not a cute way to...
Yeah, and Shane goes on to say before is not a cute way to say before. Right. Yeah, so Shane, from what I gather, the data that I have says that before Lore...
Yeah, you're right. So we all know who before is. These actors don't realize like we know. Like they think I don't think they think we're idiots. But like for the moment, they're not going to get that I'm saying before, right? It's like supposed to be this dad joke kind of thing.
Yeah. They're acting like maybe they know something we don't. Like the name before isn't the name of the last android we saw in the last TNG movie we watched.
Right.
Like, are you joking right now? Like, these are Trekkies, bro. This isn't like, these aren't casual. First off, I don't even know if there are casual Trek fans. I think that there are two types of Star Trek fans. Rabid and not fans of Star Trek. That's it.
A good point. Yeah, good point. Well said.
Even people that hate current Trek are still aware of everything because they're actually, even if they dislike it, they're still like looking through everything with a fine-tooth comb. Like they're the fans of Star Trek and the most recent non-fans of Star Trek are still watching every single thing about Star Trek, including the last Hollywood released movie that featured the character B-4. Right?
Yeah.
Not crazy here.
No, you're crazy. No, you aren't crazy at all. And they just kind of give that away. So what do we know? We know that Lore was disassembled, was shut down by Data,
deactivated,
and then disassembled. Now that's officially what we know about Lore. Disassembled. Now it doesn't mean Lore was destroyed.
No, he was
It just
disassembled
means he
and
was
taken to
taken
the
apart.
Daystrom Institute. He is currently in a drawer, as far as we know. He's in a drawer somewhere at the Daystrom Institute.
Okay, but well, B4 is the one we saw in the drawer.
Right, but didn't they say that? Oh, maybe
They didn't say a drawer. No.
So I'm sorry. Lore is in a drawer. I'm sorry. B4 is in a drawer, but I also think Lore was disassembled and taken to the Daystrom Institute. Right?
I don't know if he was taken somewhere.
Maybe
but
that's
he
my
was
head.
disassembled.
Maybe that's my head canon because that's where all like the crazy tech goes.
Makes sense. But he was definitely disassembled. So when we see Lore here, we see Lore, right? But we know because of this information that has been given to us that Lore will also at some point be partially B4.
Before
in
Lore.
some way. So now that's why we know it's before Lore. So it's going to be a combination of the two. Now we don't know. Before's positronic brain, I believe Data did a download, right?
Yes, Data. This was very clever of Rick Berman. I'll tell you right now, or whoever wrote that. Nemesis is not a good movie, by the way, in my opinion. But whoever wrote it, that section was great. They're like, look, Brent Spiner wants to leave this role. He's tired of playing Data. We want a memorable scene where we can kill off this character. But this is Star Trek, and we don't want to lose the option of having Data come back, especially considering how beloved he is.
Right.
So it was very clever to find this robot that the bad guy used to sort of infiltrate the ship. And it was like it was called Before because it was like the very first prototype of Data and Lore.
Yes.
And it's more rudimentary, and Data was like trying to fix it, and he downloaded his positronic pathways into it to try to sort of fix how sort of generic and sort of rudimentary the lore of Before was. And it's genius because at the very end you have that moment where he's walking out, and the song that Data was singing at Riker's wedding in the very beginning of the movie was Blue Skies, right?
Right.
And then you hear Before, who just learned how to whistle, whistling.
Right.
Right. And knowing that there was no connection between the two in regards to that music, meaning that the only way he can have that tune in his brain is if it was because of Data's favorite song. That was very clever.
Well, and then when you take that information, and we don't even need to say anything like that we maybe know, we can just say, well, if you take that information, then that means that at some level we have Data involved in this weird hybrid between B4 and Lore. So Data is involved somehow. And then on that panel, Marina Sirtis said something very interesting about her character of Deanna. And what she said is there's very interesting between her and the Data B4 Lore character. There's going to be a lot of interaction between her and that character in the upcoming series. Right. Now, what is Deanna? She is a counselor.
A counselor.
So why would she have a lot of interaction with this character? Because she's trying to help this character come along. So, you know, what's going to happen? You'll have to wait and see, but use your imagination, I guess, at this point.
Yeah. And we don't want to spoil you, but
no. But I mean, we just kind of said it. So I mean,
we just gave you all the information. It's right there. Like
yeah, and we broke it down based on stuff that everybody's already said out loud.
Yeah. By the way, none of our we don't break things in our videos, even if we know it ahead of time. Like a lot of this we could have talked about before the video. Notice that we didn't put this video out until after the panel because we weren't going to put something out until after the information was publicly available because we don't want to spoil anyone.
We don't want to ruin it for you.
Yeah, we're not going to ruin it for you. Okay, so on that note, what you said, everything you said is correct. What boggles my mind is that let's say you're right, and it's like Before's body with Lore's brain or something like that, right? Then you're talking about someone like Data's brain is also in there.
Well, because we know he was somewhat in B4.
Right.
and B4 and lore. So it's not a big jump to think that somehow the Data might be back at some point.
Right.
It's not a big jump. Not a big leap.
Jump.
And if Deanna is involved, then maybe she's the one who helps make that happen.
And on the same note, the comic books that are official, and I know we don't cover comic books or ever include them in our information. However, the official comic books in the 25th century has Data as captain of the Enterprise.
It's the Enterprise E.
Okay, so he is captain of the Enterprise E in the comic books. These are official Star Trek.
Is that canon?
It's canon according to Star Trek.
I don't know. I didn't realize that. Really? No,
Yes.
It's not canonical until it's on. I don't know. I don't think it's canonical until it's on TV. But okay.
I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I bet you though, it could be argued that it is canonical, and things have happened in comic books that we've seen in Picard. Like we've seen references to things that happened in comic books. So I don't know.
That's true. That is true.
I don't know, but it's going to be rad either way. It's going to be a really great story to watch. And if you're a fan of Brent Spiner's Data, lore, or any of that mythology, lore, no pun intended, go ahead.
Well, Data can't be the captain of the Enterprise E because we're getting the Enterprise F, which we will be talking about soon.
Oh, that's true. Are you sure it was the E then?
Yeah, it's the E. He takes over. He takes over after because Riker goes to the Titan, and Picard retires.
So how in the world? What? Why would you make it the E that takes place so quickly after Nemesis? Like you wrote this comic book a few years ago. You know
the E happened after Generations. Because we lost the D.
No, I'm talking about as a writer of the comic books. You wrote this comic book knowing that Data was dead, or maybe I need to read more of the comic books. Maybe
you need to read more because I don't think Data dies in the comic books.
But he died in the movies.
Right.
Okay, that's stupid. Don't do that.
This is why it's not canonical.
All right, that's dumb. That bothers me. Or maybe it's actually before, like maybe Data's brain took over or something.
There could be some sort of combination. Yeah, they might have continued that what you just talked about.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, that's what we know so far. It's going to be great. We're going to be stoked. And if you're a fan of Star Trek lore, no pun intended, you're going to love this season, I believe, because we get a lot. It looks like he's in almost every episode of that series. So that's going to be great.
Yes.
Okay, guys, that's it. Hit that comment section. On the way down there, please hit the subscribe button because there is a drastically small amount of you that watch these videos that are not subscribed.